Hello everyone, welcome to Take 5. This is Vanya Dangar from Goa Institute of Management. Today we're really honored to have with us Mr. T.Rabi Shankar. Welcome to Take 5, sir.
Thank you.
Sir, so how has your journey been so far in the financial industry?
Smooth, not really eventful, but above all, it has been a very learning experience. When I'm a student of economics, so when I came into finance, I pretty much knew nothing. I knew nothing about let's say accounting. I knew nothing about banking except that they create credit, and we knew that equation. And except a little bit of understanding about central banking. Finance sector isn't really covered much in economics proper, at least not in those days. It never used to get covered. So pretty much knew nothing. Came here, started off distributing notes over the state of Kerala. Not a very exciting experience, but it felt nice. You're doling out cash to all the banks. But starting from there, after that, I did a bit of banking regulation. Then probably the most exciting time until then was when I got into, we have an internal selection process. Through that process, I got into the dealing room for managing foreign exchange reserves. Now that was a high. It was scary to begin with. You never in your life have dealt in millions or sometimes even hundreds of millions. Those days our reserves used to be a lot less, about 30 billion or so. But there are two things that happened there. One is I interacted with some of the best best minds in the business, because we used to be client of virtually all the major banks. The second thing that happened is whatever economics I learned until then was in the book. You read it to pass exams. This is where you are actually targeting, you understand economics a lot better because you are actually seeing things happen and unfold before your eyes. The payroll data comes out of US, what happens to exchange rate, what happens to interest rates, what happens to stock prices. You see that day in and day out. You have a much better understanding of how economies function than any degree in any place on earth, I guess.
Yeah, so our viewers will be really happy to know that, because everyone has that apprehension that if you need to take finance, if you need to go to the financial sector, you need to have a particular background.
Yes.
So I think they'll be really happy to know that that's not the case.
Yeah, you don't need to. I mean, you don't really need to. If you want to get specific aspect, you want to get into pricing of options, you need to have a fairly good understanding of mathematics. Yes. But apart from a few such specific areas, no. You can. Some of the best people in finance that I have seen have come from as diverse backgrounds as history and sociology.
Sure. And so what do you have to say about the recent financial developments that India has been through?
India has seen its fair share of crisis, starting from 97 to now. But India really has managed to keep itself away from any severe crisis that has severely hampered its growth or had similar negative consequences. If you look at the 2008 global financial crisis, it has had severe impact on the living standards and growth of many developed countries. We haven't had that. So India is a relatively safe financial system. The flip side is probably we have been safe because we have been very cautious about taking risks. We do take risks. We do increase the degree of risk we take, but they're nowhere near what some other countries are willing to take. In the in the process, we might be missing out some of the upside as well. Someone once told me 2000. This was the 1997 East Asian crisis. When some person in Reserve Bank was saying that, we didn't catch this disease. I remember an economist from outside who said, maybe this is a good disease to catch. You have to be rich to catch the disease. So yeah, we might be missing some of the upside, but overall I think we are going slow. Our financial markets are stable. Our financial markets are very sound. Infrastructure. Yes, they are not deep. We can't help it because
But
global
we're working
savings don't
towards
come in. That's not something that we can influence beyond a point. India has to be an important enough country in the scheme of global finance for more liquid markets.
And so what are the upcoming profiles that, or the upcoming sectors within the financial sector that we need to look up to?
Upcoming sectors or
upcoming profiles in the financial sector?
Developments you mean? Okay. Nothing. I mean, this is just my personal feeling. I think that going forward, financial sector will have to de-risk itself somewhat. Okay. I do not think that there is as much conviction now as it was there, let's say 10 years back, about the benefits of some very complicated financial instruments. Probably an extreme view in this regard is that Paul Volcker, the erstwhile Federal Reserve President, who said that the only innovation of the financial sector since the 60s is the ATM. So there is very clearly a rethink. There is very clearly a regulatory move to keep a closer eye on the positions that finance builds up. So I believe finance is probably off the trajectory it was building prior to the global financial crisis, and will probably move slower. But a lot of the so-called innovations of the past are probably no longer relevant.
Yes. And so, as you know, our annual business symposium Samriddhi theme is management beyond limits. So what is your take on it?
Management beyond limit?
Yes.
I don't know anything about management, but then I guess management within limits is pretty much administration, isn't it? Mm-hmm. So all management is essentially management of what happens beyond what you can see. So in a
it's
sense,
about that vision.
Yeah, in a sense, beyond limit. In a sense, taking that call, which no amount of data, no amount of information, no amount of theory will be able to give you. If it gave you, then it would give to anyone else. So management is all about getting that perspective on what you're doing, and having that vision to understand what could possibly happen beyond our understanding. So take a call. This is I guess for most businesses and so on, this is very often a risk call. That I want to get into this business, I want to do this, this is the risk, it could fail. A lot more businesses fail than succeed. But overall, the ones that succeed make the world a better place. So management beyond limits is all about getting people who can imagine such successes.
So that was a really good thought. And sir, if anything you want to share with our viewers or all the aspiring managers?
From your students and so on?
Yes, sir.
I know, I'm a regulator. I'm from the central bank. One of the one of the things okay, fine. This is something that I've seen. When I talk, I interact a lot with other banks and other institutions. I find there that when people join fresh from colleges or they're young, they're good. Most of them are very smart people, very intelligent people. They are good. But they get into the market, and the perspective that really comes, which would probably make markets better places in general, and there would be less exploitation of people who don't know. It could be clients, could be anyone. If you have that perspective, that if you look for short-term gains and lose sight of your perspective, these gains are likely to remain short-term. So you do your job, but you are a member of society. You make your money, but you keep the financial system integrity in place. Try and do that. Try and don't take people who don't know for a ride. That's not done. Make money the hard way.
Yes.
If you're good, you'll make money, definitely.
Conscience is important.
Yes, yes.
Thank you so much, sir.